Okay, so only the final of the Norwegian National Championship remaining, and we have Gabryel from France with Tyrell, Banner of the Lion, against Dennis from Germany with Stark, the Lord of the Crossing. And, yeah, I was just thinking, so Dennis getting very close in the German Nationals, losing in the semi-finals. And in the final friendly open event he lost in the final, a very close game, so a couple of near misses. So yet another chance here for him, and it would be nice to see him winning this one. And his opponent, I think I'm right in saying that he was the captain of the French team in the Battle of the Nations, where France did quite well. I think they lost to the eventual champions China in the semi-finals there. So two very experienced, strong players here in the final, and playing two of the strongest decks around at the moment. And the game has just started, and we can watch it in full. So Dennis on the bottom with Stark, and Gabryel on top with Tyrell. Yep. May he draw all his superior claims this time. Yeah, so definitely a fast deck, Stark, but the control elements of Tyrell line can disrupt it. The Housefloren Knights can get it a little bit. But on the plus side, the renown is not really on the characters in this deck, like in some of the Stark Fealty variations, so you do get to keep most of the power you gain. On the other hand, I think Dennis has no plots that would give him any safety in any rounds. He has the Heads on Spikes, the Winter Festival for additional power gain, but nothing like a barring the gates or King in the North or anything like that. And I did play against Gabryel in the was it the top 16, so I do know what plots he is playing, or I did before I forgot. Should be able to remember them though. Wasting no time here, Dennis going for Winter Festival immediately. So I think the only plot that blocks it really is the Tourney for the King, which we should be seeing towards the end of the game in round maybe 6 or 7 for Gabryel, unless he is already established earlier and close to victory. An Intimidate character, quite nice to start with. And Cerebellum Swan, one of the key characters for the Tyrell deck. Okay, gets a lot of gold here. Knight of Flowers. Yeah, difficult to remove him from the board, I think, in this matchup. Not sure if Dennis is playing the Harris. And immediately a non-kneeler. So if you leave the challenges unopposed, as the crossing decks tend to do, because they need to do all three themselves. This guy does a lot of damage by himself. Yeah, he's pretty strong with Jamie as well, as we saw in the previous game. Suddenly there was a non-kneeler with renown. But of course, yeah, Gabryel's not going to get every single card he needs here right away. And in fact, one problem he seems to have at the moment is no Arbor or Redwine Straits. and the Old Town Undercity also missing, so no immediate draw or economy here. So I think he needs this this matchup not to have any resets really. Let's see what Dennis plays here. Bear Island Scout, I think, will be searching for one of the ladies. Or maybe another copy of itself. I think it can find She-Bear as well, can he? Yeah, and that's exactly what it does. And I'm sure She-Bear will be played immediately. Yeah, this is where one of those Alchemist Guild halls would be nice for Gabryel. From a 5 gold plot. That's 11 cost worth of characters. Hmm. 7. Dangerous number. No tricks this time though. Maybe this Scheming Septon was put into the challenge because he plans to get off the board anyway before Gabryel is done. And then he's happy to leave some power on the faction card with the unopposed challenges that he can then steal back. So whatever is taken for claim, we'll probably defend this one. Probably just making the calculation here what to do with that Intimidate on Grey John. Stealth on Arya as well, so he can play around the standing characters a little bit. And that's probably why She-Bear is kept here. How is he gonna find that Hustler and Knight that he likes to find? Well, not the worst thing. That pretty much stops any chance of Grey John getting a good Intimidate here. Still 2 power icons to get past. might have been away. Starting past Sir Robert Strong with Arya and Grey John, not sure. Maybe not. Yeah, plenty of characters standing here, so just happy to do the third challenge to get the power and the crossing trigger, which is fair enough. No way to win dominance. And a hands judgment here for Gabryel. Keeps Denis at 2 instead of 4. And we've seen that a few times Denis getting, or other players playing this deck, getting to 9 or 11 power, something like that. So any cancel on these superior claims or anything that blocks Winter Festival is important. So heads on spikes for sure in the deck. That needs to hit for Denis, and I wonder if then Winter Festival or heads on spikes has a second copy. Against Hano, I think You Win or You Die was another plot, possibly at the Palace of Sorrows. I'm guessing to Harris as well. Yeah, it's pretty early for the Harris, so no way back after this one. If Gabryel can get control of the board. But yeah, limiting the number of characters of course is important, because a tourney around, for instance, with already there's 5 here that have renown, so just committing on a single challenge, if you get for instance 3 more knights, that's crazy. That's 8 renown immediately, and 2 non-kneelers as well. One of the knights survives along with Sir Balon, so Knight of Flowers going away, which I'm sure Denis is pleased to see. And the 3 obvious characters survive on the other side with dupes as well, so not immediately under pressure from that Vanquish the Unbelievers. I think more important will be not conceding the power claim, but I think that might be difficult for Denis. And now with no economy, one of those bounty of high gardens would be nice. Nope, but there is some tempo here with Sir Osmond. Nothing in shadows though, so no easy Boros. And this guy puts a knight into play, so cannot put Skimming Septon into play to gain additional gold. Yeah. If the next restricted list does address the Stark crossing in some way, this character Shiber is one of the strongest ones. She brings in 6 cost worth of characters. Just spending 3, so then he's leaving the steward standing as well. Does need this round. He might, yeah, he should get that to claim intrigue though against him, so not a lot of cards remaining after this round. Just the one. And the non-kneeler is a problem as well, because he can attack without then exposing himself to unopposed power on the counter-attack. In theory, of course, there's 2 stealth characters, Jojen and Arya, and Intimidate as well. And potential to put something into play after stealth is already gone. Guessing Summer was probably the best card. We'll never know, maybe it's Superior Claim. Putting Jojen into play with Shiber, not Summer. He did have a couple of targets. Then he's also without economy here. Just thinking ahead a little bit if you win or you die is played next round. Greyjoy doesn't stand on defense, so tough to defend this one successfully. Is it worth doing that anyway because of the 2 claim? Problem is that you never know if something else comes into play here and messes things up if you commit to defense. And of course, when the knight comes into play, Balon will be getting 2 gold as well. So there could still be plenty of tricks. Now it might be worth just getting rid of the dupe on Greyjoy here. If Dennis thinks there won't be any Morghulis, which there won't. Yep. Putting Superior Claim to the bottom. Is there a way to shuffle the deck easily? There's a search effect on Barrel and Scout. And that stops the crossing because that was the only intrigue icon. So what happens with this House Lord and Knight? Let's see. discarded from play at the end of the round. There is a way to put it into play from the discard pile, of course, with a plot, and also Burning Bright is a Lannister card that can do that. Okay, no crossing trigger, so 6 it is. And now Dennis out of cards. Almost. Not sure, of course, what Gabryel has, but we do know there is at least a Skimming Septon. Well-timed barring stops the plot. I think Gabryel is struggling a bit with economy here. Usually you expect to have the Arbor or Red Line Straits, have a little bit more gold, and I'm guessing he didn't draw Bounty of High Garden either, otherwise he would have played it already. And 4 is not that much. You can cheat stuff into play most rounds. This round won't work because of the barring, so everything just needs to be played. And yeah, Osmond, I guess, will be coming back with additional gold next round, and this time just to gain some gold for tricks. And yeah, maybe that was the time to use the reducer before it got discarded. Not bad. That's the second one gone. There was one earlier that was put to the bottom of the deck. I don't think the deck has been reshuffled since. Still, Greyjoy Amber does work. 2 plots in the used pile. Against Martell, this is a little bit more difficult with their Gull Towns. Disabling Greyjoy in 1 round earlier, but on this occasion he is still active. Still no locations played by either player except for one. I think there was one King's Road. Almost 25 minutes and no locations played. And I think Gabryel has political disaster, not sure if Dennis has it as well. Summer moved to the bottom. I wonder if the wolf plot is in the deck. That's a bit of tempo as well. Putting Summer into play and then grabbing maybe a scout or something. And the power challenge is the first time anything at all kneels for Gabryel. I think Dennis is now safe from any tricks. So he should be able to get the unopposed power here. Or an unopposed intrigue, either way. Just two stealth characters that can participate in the military with Greyjoy and Amber, and then the power icon should be intimidated and Greyjoys should stand. I don't think there is a way to stop that, so may as well defend this one. Now there's several ways of doing this, but this one works. Should get two unopposed challenges and the crossing trigger. And here is that magical number 10. That is close, but not quite close enough. Still the chance to play heads on spikes, and still, of course, the chance to close it with you win or you die. But what comes first is the question. Four plots left for Gabryel. Not entirely sure. I know for a fact that it is political disaster and tourney for the king. But I'm not sure about the other two. Possibly there was the Palace of Sorrows. I played against Gabryel earlier, but it was a long game, so difficult to remember everything. Five cards, and some of those might be characters, so trying your luck with heads on spikes might be worth it here. It has quite decent initiative as well, so it could win. Okay. That's very handy for Dennis. He gets to go first with 2 claim and no crossing problem with minus strength, so this start will be handy. Unfortunately for him, Grey John now has 3 plots in the used pile, so he won't be getting his stand. Let's see if anything useful was drawn here. Not bad. And now not quite enough gold here for Gabryel to do a lot of damage with House Florent Knights and stuff like that. He's on the defensive a little bit here, which is surprising. I think probably he's had quite a bad draw here in this game. One Iron Bank. He did get the knight. There was Robert. I think he came in with Boros earlier, or was that the previous game? So nothing that great. And now we see I am no one, so the new version after the redesigns gives insight, which in this particular round not that useful, but it does allow one character to remain standing for all 3 challenges, and it's a stealth character as well, so going for the unopposed intrigue. And never a good time to get that tempo hit in this game. That was the problem for Gabryel. He did have the arbor. That's for one of those late summer feasts. You can just play and get all the stuff like that on the board is useful. We saw it in Tyrell and in one of the earlier games. I think Super Duck had it, the Chinese player. Okay, so there is stealth on Arya. So this doesn't give the power icon to Mira. There is intimidate. Now can he push the military challenge through and intimidate the power icon, and then Arya gets the unopposed? Is that doable? No, just going for the 1 character. Of course it's 2 claims, so it needs to be defended or otherwise handled here. Still Osmond's trigger is available, and remember it is the Palace of Sorrows, so any House Florent Knight coming in here can discard anything on the board except for Arya, who is duped. Using Osmond here because he is taken for claim. Now there are 2 icons. So it's 2 claim with crossing. That's 14. I'm not seeing any renown, but it must be a superior claim in hand, and there it is. Yeah. That was pretty well drawn here by Dennis. There was one at the bottom, I think, not sure if the deck was reshuffled since, and one already discarded, but he got it as I predicted at the start of the game. He gets it most of the time, for sure. So, yeah, well played. Struggled this time for Tyrell, and I'm sure it wasn't the usual game for this deck. It was struggling a bit with the goal to put stuff into play and just defend everything, and Yeah, Dennis timed his stuff pretty perfectly. one hard trick. I seem to remember there was a King's Road, but it's not here now, so maybe that was the previous game as well. Yep. So that was the Norwegian Nationals, the best attended Nationals event so far. I'm pretty sure it will remain that way. Not sure if there is any others that will be held online. So 38 players, all the factions represented, and Dennis is the champion after just missing out on the Friendly Open Season 5 overall title and then going out in the semifinals of the German Nationals as well. But this time he finally makes it with his trusty Stark Crossing deck. And this is how things finished. So we'll just wait for this to be updated so that we can see Dennis crowned as the champion. I will show you in the meantime some statistics. So as you can see, we had 10 entries for Martel. It says 39, maybe there were 39, or yeah, I think there were also some late withdrawals, and then someone else joined to make the numbers work out so that everyone got a game. Tyrell with 6 entries, most of them this time were the Tyrell Lion that we saw missing from the Italian Nationals almost entirely. And then Stark with 5 entries, 5 Baratheons doing very well in this tournament with 2 decks in the semifinals. 4 Greyjoys not doing that well recently. Greyjoy, we haven't seen it a lot at all. I think there was one in the cut in Italy possibly. And 4 Targaryens, 3 Night's Watch decks, Tamas again doing quite well, losing in the cut this time to Hano, and then the 2 Lannisters, but there are 2 pretty strong Lannisters, including Gradex, Lanny Kraken of course, which always seems to do well in these tournaments. And there we are. So let's just give everyone who made the top 16 the credit here. So as you can see, we had Tyrell White Book deck. There was Tyrell Lion, the first of many. Stark Winter. I played against this in the Swiss rounds. It was interesting deck certainly to see this combination. Although I was quite lucky in that game to get the Iron Bank and not have to suffer any choke effects basically from the Winter agenda. So, but doing quite well in the other games this deck. So. Congratulations to Dominic. Then Reinhardt as usual, making it this time playing Dark Crossing. Then myself with Martel Alliance. That was a pretty annoying little cancerous deck that I'm sure was not appreciated by my opponents, but was not enough to beat Gabryel's Tyrell Lion. Yotam with Martel aloof and apart. This is always interesting, an interesting combination. Unfortunately did not get to see any of his games, but I'm guessing it was using the Core Viper perhaps. Argento, another player who always makes the cut. He was undefeated in Swiss. I think he was second, but both players who were undefeated will be getting the King of Swiss prize from this tournament, which is quite a lovely prize actually. And then Martel Wars making it as well. Sorry about this, but I cannot tell you who this player is. It might be Robin playing this deck. And then Alex with Knights of the Hollow Hill, Martel in the top 8. Atanas with Stark Crossing, the second one, along with Dennis's. Tamas making it with Night's Watch, Valyrian Steel. Tyrell Lion losing in the top 8 as well. That was Super Duck. He lost against his compatriot Aegon in the top 8. Hano making it after taking a little break from the game, coming back strongly with Baratheon Crossing deck, the only one in the field. So congratulations to him as well for playing something a little more unique. And then we have Aegon here with excuse me, we have again with Baratheon Brotherhood without banners, another one of the most interesting decks in this tournament. Gabryel with Tyrell Lion and our champion Dennis with Stark Crossing. As you can see, Radek lost with Lannister in that additional game that all players who had 3 wins in Swiss got to play. So there were just two to make the eventual 16 players. So there was a Lannister as well. But the one missing here, notably missing, is Greyjoy. So that restriction to Risen from the Sea, podding it with Lufen apart, suddenly has left Greyjoy with a mediocre deck. Just that one little change, which is surprising because it was quite dominant previously to that in the Battle of the Nations tournament, where almost everyone brought the exact same Greyjoy deck, and it won a lot of games before it got paired with those Stark decks in the cut and started losing. So there's hope that a little bit of change can keep some of these decks in check. Certainly the two finalists have proven to be very strong, and the third one is Martell Wars. That was on this occasion the best was top 16 place, but certainly has been doing well. And I think I'm sure that I remember correctly. Let's just check it. This did win the Friendly Open. Robin with this same deck, undefeated in the final Friendly Open event just short of 2 months ago. So these are the big three, and then some surprises along the way. And Night's Watch Valyrian still is always one as well, but just the one usually. Okay, so not much more to say about this one. The biggest event of this part of the year, for sure, and it deserved to be. I think it's fitting that Norway has the biggest national championship this year after supporting so many other events and participating basically in organizing a lot of the online stuff that has happened and will happen until the end of this year. I'm sure there will be something else played before New Year. So congratulations again to Dennis, and I'll try to get these videos uploaded in the next couple of days. So thanks to everyone for joining me, and we'll see you next time.